Hello, welcome back to Independent, your independent source for all your indie news and needs. I'm your host, Brian, and today's a little something different. We're going to have an in-studio interview and live session with Painted Lights.
Hey, what's up, Brian? Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. All right, so would you kindly introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Jake Hidkey.
I'm Benjamin Law.
And I'm also Brian. I don't know which mic I'm supposed to yell at.
That one, right?
Oh, it's way over there. I'm Brian. Also.
Okay, guys, so just first of all, how you guys doing today? How you guys feeling?
Made it in the nick of time, so we're good.
Great. Yeah, the weather, even though there's clouds, it feels great outside.
Yeah, it's feeling great. So you guys are here to promote your new EP.
Yes.
Would you care to share the name of that for the audience at home?
Yeah, so the new EP is called You Are the Choices That You Make.
Great. So what was the creative process like for this EP, this go-around?
Oh, man. So for this go-around, really the entirety of it was basically us just spending about an hour at the beginning of every practice just hanging out. And we would just talk about what's going on in life. So this album's kind of more of like a musical representation of our friendship and the stuff that we've been going through and walking through together over the last couple of years. So that's really what it is. And the title kind of just comes from, we can all get hung up on stuff we've done or who we were in the past, and we just wanted everyone to kind of know, like, hey, you're in control of choosing your next step. So just keep choosing your next step and keep making the right choices, and you're all good.
Yeah, cool. So last year, you guys released an album called Comfort and the Consistency.
Yes.
What would you say is different making this one in comparison to that one?
I don't see much difference necessarily because our writing process has always been kind of organic and so forth. I think it's a tiny bit more aggressive, which I think is kind of cool. It has a little more edginess to it.
Yeah, it's more punk rock for sure.
Yeah, we kind of morphed a little into more punk rock than just emo type stuff, but still catchy stuff, I hope, and people will enjoy it.
Yeah, we basically, after playing a bunch of shows and like touring, we were thinking, what's gonna make people move around and just have a gnarly fun time instead of just like a cerebral album like the first one. It was more like that. And post rock, we thought, what's gonna make people move physically instead?
Cool.
So that's kind of what this
Gnarly fun time. I like that description.
And the other cool thing about this, I might add, is that we did a lot of the tracking live as opposed to like just in a studio with certain things, because it's more, a lot of people have said we're great, but you should hear us live. And that was kind of, the vibe that we got on this one.
Sorry, I was just saying, the mic is still.
Oh, it is?
Just talk to the
Oh,
mic.
yeah. Talk a little more into the mic.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So finally, so the name Painted Lights, when I first heard it, I thought that was a really interesting name. What's the like significance or meaning of it?
So we were originally called something different, called Man in the Raw, and it was just supposed to be like emotional rawness, but obviously that can be taken a very wrong way.
Way out of context, yeah.
Yes, we were talking to labels and industry people, and they just told us, they just ignored us, and then we found out it's because they didn't like our name.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so we changed the name. The reason it's Painted Light, we just tossed a bunch of names around, and that one just sounded like the name that we could say on stage, and it just felt exactly right.
Yeah,
and
I
it
can see
presented
that.
the music like exactly what it was. I used to be in a band with our drummer now, Brian, called Light and Ladder back in the day, and Light just kind of has always been like.
Yeah, I was about to
part
say
of
you
it.
seem to have a thing for lights.
Yeah, it just always has, and like art stuff. So Painted Light made sense.
Yeah, cool. So how about we get into a song here?
Yeah, that sounds good. Ben, do you want to turn and see if we can Beatles this?
Okay.
So we do a lot of dual vocals, so we're gonna try and do this with our Beatles mic. And I'm not here to save anybody but myself. There are two sides to every coin, but one's more is always more weathered. And I'm not here to save anybody but myself. There are two sides to every coin, but one's more weathered. One is always more weathered than the other. One is always more weathered. Oh. I don't want to look inside myself. I don't want to look. How about you? You. I don't want to look inside myself. I don't want to look. How about you? Here we go. I don't want to look inside myself. I don't want to look. How about you? I don't want to look inside myself. I don't want to look. How about? And I'm not here to save anybody but myself.
Woo!
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you,
guys.
thank you.
Great. Man, that was a really good performance, if I must say so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First time on an acoustic bass.
Oh, cool. Nice. First time
Well,
for
no,
everything. Okay, so in terms of who you guys are signed to, you guys are signed to Friend Club Records,
Yeah.
right? And apparently, and you can confirm or deny. Apparently, the story is the head label saw your video for Home and reached out to you guys to want to sign with. And evidently, by the nod of your head, that's true. Could you go a little more in depth with that story and describe what it's like being on Friend Club Records?
Do you want to take the beginning part or me?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So how it worked is, so I was me, Jake. I was trying to figure out if we could find a company to do some merch for us, and I was trying to keep it in this group called Furnace Fest because we love Furnace Fest out in Alabama. And I just posted. I said, "Hey, who makes vinyls and shirts? Because we want to support the community here." And someone looked us up just from that post. And when they looked us up, they went and found the video, and they loved the video.
Mhm.
And then they showed the head of the A&R for Friend Club. Everyone started freaking out. we got a direct message saying, "Hey, are you Jake from Painted Light?" And I was like, "Yeah, are you guys able to make t-shirts for us?" and they were like, "No, we're a record label and we have to hear more of your songs immediately." And then at that point, we were really only ready with the music for like 5 songs. And so we went and finished having the rest of the record completed so that Comfort in the Consistency could be a full LP instead of an EP. Yeah, that's how it started. And then I guess you want to just talk about Friend Club a little bit, like where they're from and stuff. Some of the fun stuff about Friend Club that we've experienced over summer and stuff.
Well, it's definitely an independent label. It's they're based out of Buffalo, of all places,
Yeah.
and they just have a lot of support for the hopefully up and coming artists that are out there, and at least get us some exposure to hopefully maybe go further. So
Yeah. And then they helped us get set up over the summer with the Friends with No Benefits tour. That was a lot of fun. So that was a couple Friend Club bands, then a couple other bands from Texas, and we just basically took over as much of the country as we could in 16 days.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah. So in looking up you guys, the term that I would often see described to your band's sound would be math rock and Midwest emo. Some bands can be kind of like
Correct.
butthurt about people putting like labels on what they are. Would you seem to agree with that label?
to some degree, yes, but at the same time, I think our songs are somewhat catchy. I mean, and it seems like it's more. I think even though it's kind of mathy in some respects, it's very palatable for anyone that can enjoy it. That so they might not know. In fact, we were counting today on one of the songs that we did. It turns out it's like 13/8 or something.
Brian, our drummer, knows everything about math rock and time signatures, and he actually told us when he was filling in for drums, and now he's pretty much doing it all the time. He was like, "Hey, by the way, that song that you thought was in 7, it's actually more like 13." And we were like, "What?"
And then during lunch we were like counting it off. I'm like, son of a gun, he's right. It is 13/8.
Brian, can you fill in on that? Like for if is Painted Light math rock? You're like the math rock god.
I think the
Be
3.
closer.
I'm just gonna come over here.
Come on over here.
Hello, everybody. I would say that there are 3 distinct genres that Painted Light is a blend of.
Okay.
Definitely some math rock.
Mhm.
There are some odd time signatures, especially in the song Stationary, that they were referring to that bounces around between 13 and 14 and other things. Yeah. it's fun, but it's palatable, like Ben was saying, in that there's a good punk rock influence too.
Mhm.
Midwest emo to me is like a big umbrella, and there are like different flavors of Midwest emo. Like American Football might not be quite as punk as Painted Light,
Yeah.
but we definitely are heavily inspired by those guitarists and those musicians in general. So yeah, Midwest emo, punk, and some math rock for sure, and that definitely comes from your background. Yeah. Yeah. And
Would you?
Uke has some mathy vibes for sure. I think it starts in 5, right?
Oh, that's another one. We have no idea what the time signature is. We
I'm
just
not
play
sure.
it.
But we'll probably play it
Sure.
today. So we're gonna play it anyway.
Okay, so in terms of the EP itself, what would you guys say like were some influences that you guys have pulled in creating it?
I guess
Like anything out of the ordinary besides like usual stuff, or is it just like same old, same old?
really for all of it, it was just based on our conversations we had about life, right? For the heart of it. But then as far as the musical aspect of it, a lot of people started coming up to us and telling us that we sounded like Tiny Moving Parts, which is one of my favorite emo, math rock, whatever bands.
Okay.
And, I was like, we do actually sound like them a lot. And I always jammed out their records so hard.
Mhm.
So I was like, man, you know what? This is so fun. Why don't we make it a little more fun like Tiny Moving Parts does? So that's kind of an inspiration for me. But, Ben, what about you? Like, you've
I've
bring
heard
in everything.
I've heard with vocals for him, it's sound a little bit like Flaming Lips, and I'm like, okay, I'll take
yeah,
that.
I can see that.
It's like I totally can take that. That's fine. If we sound anything like that, that's cool. So
And then, like on the song we just played, Ben wrote the chorus. So that's another thing with Painted Light. Like no one's greedy as far as writing. Like it's just a fun process. No one cares who gets credit for it as long as it sounds fun. So
Okay.
yeah, Ben wrote that, and I feel like that's very '90s and '80s inspired. Just the kind of the chant over the guitar on the chorus. So
Yeah, I can see
yeah,
that.
Ben shows me a lot of cool like older stuff. He's like, "This is math rock." I'm like, "Oh my lord, this has been going on way before it was popular."
Yeah, Genesis is kind of math rock back in the day. So yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about we get into another song, guys?
Okay.
Do Home?
Yeah, we're gonna play our song "Home." This song is from the record that's already out. So the song we just played is not out yet.
Ooh, okay.
But it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna have a guest vocalist, which we can't tell you who yet because
Ooh, okay.
you know who they are. They're one of those guys. All right, guys. The song's called "Home." I wrote this song for my son Joseph, and then we have more kids in the family than Joseph now. So this is like my family song. So if you're listening, and if you have any kids, this is the song for your kids.
And this is also on a video that we have out too. Can you check it out?
Oh yeah, and check out the music video for "Home." All right, here we go. A pitter pat of feet, cries that say it's time to eat. This is what love looks like in human form. This is what I went to France to get you for. And I only want the best for you. And I hope that you're a better man than I'll be. And I only want for you to be who you are, who you are. One, two, three. That's the acoustic version. The real one is pretty insane.
Yeah, nice. Another great performance, guys.
Thank
Clap it up for the
you.
people at home. Woo.
Woo!
All right.
And
So,
thanks for listening.
all right. So, I've always wanted to get a chance to talk to kind of a more like indie, sort of like smaller scale band this question. So what type of venues do you guys prefer playing in? Because obviously, you guys aren't going to be performing like, AT&T Stadium or something like that yet. Hopefully, maybe one day.
Aw.
No, you guys will one day. One day, I guarantee it. But
Yeah.
in terms of like the venues you guys have played, so I assume you guys have played like multiple different types of venues. What have been some of your favorites that you guys have performed at?
Man,
The one that we
that's
liked a lot was in Savannah when we were on tour.
oh here.
Yeah, we played in Savannah, and it was kind of like almost a double wide type situation. But
It's
But-
a super divey bar.
yeah, it was a super dive bar, but they really got into it. I mean, it was kind of like a mosh pit was going. The energy was really, really on point. So yeah, we like it to where it's intimate, but at the same time, of course, we would love to play AT&T Stadium, obviously, but we do like the intimacy of sometimes getting to know the people, getting to know the fans that are out there, and really enjoying it. So we are a part of the show, and it's just great that we get the vibe off them, they get the vibe off us, and we love that.
Basically, the favorite venue is exactly what Ben said. Whenever the crowd is right up front, then you have the opportunity to like jump in a pit with someone if they're going crazy to the song, or if it's crazy enough and there's enough people not moving around up front, then you can jump on the crowd and play your solo on the crowd.
No, there's times where he would jump out into the audience and start playing.
Many
like,
times.
especially like
It's
the
fun.
uke song that we play. Yeah. And people are like, "What is going on?" But then they'll have their phones out checking it out. And stuff, so.
Yeah, so just from what I'm getting, you guys like that intimacy. You guys
Totally.
like connecting with the crowd. So
Oh, yeah.
what would you say is like one of your like favorite memories of having that intimacy with the crowd thus far?
Austin, Texas. I know we said Savannah,
Yeah.
Georgia, which was great.
Shout out to Valhalla, because that's always a good venue to play, and the vibe and the energy is there. It's kind of crazy outside of it, but when you're playing and stuff, it's a good electricity from start to finish. So
Yeah, that place is probably the craziest place we ever play. So we play there on tour, and then we try and go back there whenever we can, just because that town is so interested in music and art. So when a band like Painted Light comes through, it's basically exactly what they want.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of performing, what would you say as like a two-parter? What would you say is your favorite song to perform, and what would you say, or rather, what would you think based off of the reactions? Do you think is your fans' favorite song to see you guys perform?
Ooh. What do you think, Ben? You go, and I'm gonna switch to my ukulele.
I've always thought the song "Home" that we just played has a lot of legs. To
Oh
it.
yeah, I
So-
can see that, especially with
so
that kind
I
of
think a lot of people that's already heard it, they expect to hear that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good vibe.
They kind of screw it out.
Gosh, there's a lot. We have so much fun on stage. It's kind of hard to discern. Yeah, we have so much fun on stage. It's kind of hard to discern, what would be the best song that we play. Technically, I mean, I do like two sides that we just played, because normally I play it on a 7-string bass, and I do a lot more chords and harmonics on it.
And it's super heavy.
Yeah,
because
it's
he plays,
got more oomph to it.
Yeah, 7-string bass
Yeah.
chord in your face on those heavy
Which-
parts that we did. Yeah, it's
Which is weird because it's like 4 strings. What is it?
I would say so. Home, a lot of people scream it out just because that's like the single that people know from if they listen to radio.
Yeah.
They might have heard it, or if they saw the music video. And that one's kind of fun because we can step away from the mic and let the crowd sing it. There's 2 songs from the new record which we're not playing today.
Sad Summer would be one too.
Yeah,
We have a lot
one
of fun
that
with
the
that one.
crowd sings really loud called Sad Said Summer. You guys will hear it this summer or early fall. And then the one that people just get on stage and go a little rowdy on is called Keeps You Up. And they really let it rip on that one. So we like to have fun when people jump up and
Yeah,
go nuts.
it's a little bit of a revenge type song, so it's yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, give it you, yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so final question before we lead into a song here. I've always wanted to ask an artist that has a Spotify this question. So I learned apparently like bands can see like the names of the playlists that they put the songs in.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest one that you've seen a Painted Light song be put into?
We are on the playlist called Stoned and Alone. And it's a great playlist. The songs in it are great.
We are neither of those.
But
things,
we are definitely on the Stoned and Alone playlist. Besides that, I think there's another one that's called like Shut Up Madeline. Like I saw it this last week. I was like, what is this? And it's basically, I don't know. It's basically a bunch of wild songs. And then our song Yells, if you heard the whole record, Comfort and the Consistency, Yells doesn't have any lyrics. It's literally just us screaming our
Screaming at the
what's
top
off.
of our lungs, yeah.
And someone put it on a playlist. I was like, oh, okay, well maybe they made it for Madeline and sent it to Madeline and said, shut up, and we're screaming in her face. So that's an honor to be screaming in someone's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got to dedicate that song to Madeline next time.
Well, totally.
That's
totally.
a good idea.
Which ironically is my stepdaughter's name.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you shouldn't dedicate that to
Are
Madeline.
you the person who made that?
No, I did not make that one. That's awesome.
Okay, guys, let's move in here to one last song before we see you guys out.
Okay, cool. This song is called Uke. I wrote it basically for my mom, and it is on Comfort in the Consistency. Time is worth more than money. A man with family is forever rich, with both in mind, and a few kind-hearted friends. My supply of light never ends. It never ends. That was a lot of fun. That jam at the end was just, hey, let's try this stuff out.
Oh wow, so that was on the spot.
Yeah, it was on the
Yeah,
fly.
that was fun.
Nice. Awesome, guys. Awesome. All right, so before I let you guys head out, where can we find you guys next, and what are your socials?
Oh yeah. So next up, we're playing in Denton next Saturday. We're playing a pretty stacked show out there, actually at Andy's. So definitely come out there. Get out there early. There's a lot of great bands from Denton and Houston playing,
Mhm.
so that'll be great. And then we are playing Emo Night, so the Emo Night, at Southside in May. So that'll be a lot of fun. Both those shows are going to be nuts. As far as socials, we're on Instagram, Painted Light TX, and then we are on Twitter, Painted Light TX, Facebook, Painted Light TX. Let's see what else is out there. Oh, if you guys like TikTok, we're on TikTok too. What else is there? That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
go
on
go.
Spotify and stuff
Yeah,
too,
go
of course,
follow
yeah.
us on Spotify.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Or-
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much
This
for
was a
having us.
blast, Brian. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Again, this is Painted Lights, everybody. Give them a hand at home. All right, so today I'm going to be ending the show a little early. I'm going to be ending out at 5:15 instead of the usual 6 o'clock. So stick around for then. Again, this is Painted Lights. Thank you guys. This is a fantastic interview. Thank you for being my first interview, actually. And again, you're listening to Independent, your indie rock source for all your indie rock news and needs.